afternoon. I'm here. I'm back. Would like to get rid of that for now. Like to apologize for not being live for the last couple days, not doing live streams. Just that life got in the way on Wednesday. Thursday, it's opening day across Major League Baseball, so I had the stream open. I was like, "What? I mean, why am I hearing an echo?" Like that's what it was. But yeah, I mean, yesterday was opening day across Major League Baseball, and I was watching the Yankees play, and they won 5-0. So that made me happy. So I wasn't able to stream because the game started at 1, so I wasn't gonna miss that. So now today I'm gonna stream. Here we go, and I am still gonna talk about what's on my thumbnail. But obviously, I have to start off with the indictment of Donald Trump and everything, all the drama with that, and then if there's time afterwards, I'll get to the other things that are on the thumbnail. It's just that that broke yesterday evening, I think it was, and I was in a obviously I made a little video about it real quick, and I was going to talk about it today, which I will. So yeah, that's why I'm going to start with the Trump thing, but first I'm maybe make sure everybody knows I'm live, and then we'll start. Do 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 do. All right, so let me make sure everybody knows I'm live. For me. So how's everyone doing today? Hope everybody is having a great Friday. Thank God it's Friday, huh? Let's see. Thank God it's Friday and the weekend's coming up. This weekend is WrestleMania, so if you see a lot of wrestling on my Twitter, that's why. So I don't want any like, oh shit. I don't want people to to like, why is he talking about wrestling so much? Just because of that. So yeah, I'll get started in a few minutes. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew I was live and all that good stuff. Where is the fucking thing I just saved? Good lord. Wait. Yeah, I mean, all this. Alright, I just do that. And my door randomly closed, so. Welcome, and I must be haunted or something. Oops, that's not gonna work. Let's get rid of that. Yep. Okay. I need to get started. It's 2:15, but I'm trying to do something first. See, it just does that. What the hell? Let's try that. This just gives me that shit. Well then, this really sucks. Let me see if I do it like that. Oh, this crap. Trying to get this to work and it's not working, so apologize there. Oh, fuck it. I don't really have the time for this right now. Yeah, as everybody knows, Trump was indicted last night, or yesterday, and we need to see. I'm going to talk about that first, and then we'll go from there. Let me lower this. That's good. You know what? Like, I should have been probably set up beforehand, but of course I'm not because I was doing other things, and I realized, oh shit, it's 2:10 in the afternoon, and I need to go live like in 5 minutes. So I couldn't really set up like I normally would. So I apologize for any delays. It's just, you know, excuse me. Alright, let's cut this off for now. I need to play a video, so. Yep. Trump was indicted. All that good stuff. We're going to talk about that first, and then we'll get to the other stuff that's actually on the thumbnail. Hope everyone is having a great Saturday. So, as we know, Trump was indicted. Let me try it again. Apparently, the indictment was sealed. 30 counts. Good God. Let's play this MSNBC clip because I'm sure they're gonna fucking cream their pants. They're gonna fucking cream their pants about how excited they are about Trump being indicted. So did the Young Turks. So Kyle Kulinski and Crystal Ball even made a video at their at Crystal Ball's child soccer practice, which I'll also get to. I mean, everybody's all excited about this indictment. Everyone's excited. So let's actually share this clip this far instead. This is MSNBC. There's a bunch of people there. Thank you to 3 people that are watching. Do me a favor, please like, stream, and subscribe to the channels. I would greatly appreciate that. This is about a minute long. This is MSNBC basically explaining the indictments and the charges against the president, or Donald Trump, the former president, excuse me. like I'm pretending Trump's still president.
So, Laura, we just got news about what could be in the indictment. What have we learned?
That's Jose Diaz-Balart. He works for Telemundo too, so that's why I know him. He's like the Jorge Ramos of Telemundo, basically. But apparently he also has a job at MSNBC, which is not really that surprising.
Yeah, hey, Jose. According to our colleague at WNBC, Jonathan Deans, we are told that the indictment has roughly 30 counts related to document fraud, which, as we have reported and other outlets have reported, primarily
30 counts. It's like these prosecutors love to put out all these charges, but they pretty much all mean the same thing, which doesn't make much sense. It's like fraud or mail fraud. It's like fraud, but the difference is, it's like 30 different charges, which is essentially the same thing. They love doing that. It's like, oh my God, look, they charge him with 30 counts of crimes, and it's like, yeah, I mean, they're pretty much all the same thing, and most of them get dismissed anyways.
Primarily relate to this issue of falsifying business records. We know that in the days leading up to the 2016 election, Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, made a payment of $130,000 to Stormy Daniels. He says to keep her quiet about this alleged affair, which Trump denies. Trump then reimburses Cohen over a period of months in 2017 while he is actually in the White House. And he did that not as a lump sum, but as a series of different payments over the course of that year, 11 different payments, and perhaps that's why you are now seeing, or what we expect to see, 30 different charges. Now, of course, we have not seen the actual indictment yet. We do not have that paper, Jose.
All right, so the prosecution alleges, or the DA's office in Manhattan alleges, that Trump did pay back Michael Cohen, even though he denies it. And hell, even Michael Cohen denied it initially in what was it, 20? I showed you that letter last week where his lawyer basically wrote, oh, yeah, Michael Cohen made a $130,000 payment to Stephanie Clifford, a.k.a. Stormy Daniels, and he never expected to be paid back by the Trump organization, Donald Trump, or the Trump campaign. So I don't know. Right. Apparently, he did pay him back, even though I'm sure Trump's lawyers were alleged those are legal fees that they paid Michael Cohen, nothing to do with Stormy Daniels thing. So I wonder what evidence that the Manhattan DA has that actually proves that Trump did pay him back the Stormy Daniels money. It's interesting to see the evidence they have for that. My speculation is they really don't have the evidence. It's just that they're charging him with fraud based on almost nothing, because there's an old saying in the legal profession: you can indict a ham sandwich. Basically, you can indict anyone. It's meaningless. An indictment's meaningless. All it is like, because if you look, if you know what a grand jury is, let me see something. Let me see if I can do this real quick. Grand jury. All right, let's go to definition. That's a good idea. So here you go. I want to show you guys this real quick. What is a grand jury? Why do lawyers and why do defendants usually do get indicted? Even though there may not be as much evidence as the prosecutor wants there to be, but why did people get indicted anyways? So here's the actual answer to that. You see it highlighted here. This is the federal rules of grand jury, but a lot of states also handle their grand juries this way. So basically the question is, why a grand jury secret? But this is relevant towards my point. Grand jury proceedings are secret in accordance with Rule 6E of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure. No judge is present. The proceedings led by a prosecutor, and defense has no right to present his case, or in many instances even be informed of the proceedings at all. So basically, it's a prosecutor that basically goes in front of a grand jury and presents their case. The defense is not allowed to be there. The defense can't present their side of the story. Nothing. It's just the prosecutor going in there and presenting their evidence. And usually grand juries tend to rubber stamp what the prosecutor wants to do. So this idea that this indictment is a big deal, it's just absurd to me. But the reason why I just closed that. Whatever, I don't really need it. The reason why everybody thinks it's a big deal is because of they have partisan blinders on both sides. It's not just the Democrats, but it's also the Republicans too. Everyone has partisan blinders. Democrats and liberals are like throwing babies in the air and fucking blowing their pants because they're blowing their loads in their pants because they think this is such a big deal. And finally, he's getting held to account, guys. It's so exciting. Everybody on the online left, especially the professional managerial class people, made videos on this, and they're all jumping up and down in the air for joy. And I'm like, it's an indictment. It's meaningless. It's like they're lying to their audience on purpose. It's an indictment. It's meaningless. It's not like it's not like it's historic in any way. Maybe you can argue it's historic by the fact that it's the first former U.S. president ever get indicted for any crime. But here's our half-brain, half-dead president here is going to comment on Trump's indictment, or at least attempt to.
Are you worried this will further divide our country, the indictment?
I have no comment on that.
Mr. President.
Possible protests in the wake of the indictment?
No, I'm not going to talk about Trump's indictment.
Mr. President, do you think the charges against Trump are politically motivated?
Yes.
No comment on Trump.
Yes, they are definitely politically motivated, and I will explain why. But that's the president. He has no comments. He's like this the entire time. Oh, did I just? Oh my god! Let me actually try doing that. I'll play this again real quick. You can see the how confused the president looks.
Your reaction to President Trump's indictment? Are you worried this will further divide our country, the indictment?
I have no comment on that.
Mr. President.
Possible protests in the wake of the indictment.
No, I'm not going to talk about Trump's indictment.
Mr. President, charges against Trump are politically motivated.
I have no comment on Trump.
Yeah, that's that. No comment. No comment. Even though it's very likely that these indictments are done to help the president, but nonetheless, he has no in his reelection bid. But no comment. He has no comments at all. So, yeah, let me go back to this real quick. The grand jury's 12 peers and citizens that agree with the state to start a trial to determine guilt. Yeah, and the defense is not allowed to be there. They're not allowed to present their side. It's just it's geared towards the prosecution, obviously, which is why I'm not surprised that Trump was indicted yesterday. But here's the thing that confused me was the fact that I just read the day before on indictment was yesterday, the day before, which was Wednesday, about how the grand jury's gonna take a month off just for no reason. So that's why I thought, well, there's not going to be an indictment then, because why take a month off? Then yesterday comes out there is an indictment. So basically, what happened was they decided to take the month off because they already decided to indict Trump. Just that it didn't break until last night. He has one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel. Yeah, I assume you're talking about Biden, and I do agree with that. So, is there any? So, to an indictment, and whatever the online left tells you, liberal Democrats like the Young Turks or Kulinski or Ball or Sam Cedar, or Figueredo, Dole, whatever, whoever you may watch, and they tell you this indictment's a big deal, they're lying. This is just an indictment. It's I can get indicted tomorrow for alleged crimes I could have committed. It doesn't mean anything because ultimately would have to go to the trial and see whether there's actually enough evidence to convict or not. Same thing with Trump. So if you listen to these YouTubers and they tell you that, oh, well, this indictment's a huge deal, guys, and Trump's finally being held to account. No, he's not. It's just an indictment. It's just an indictment. It's not a felony conviction. It's not any. It's just an indictment. So those YouTubers will make videos or already made videos lying to you about how this is a big deal. So let's. Anything else I want to play here before I move on? Yeah, this is interesting. This was this morning from Today's Show.
A show of
So, as I talked about on Twitter last night, before I play this, if you follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen this. If you don't, make sure you follow me on Twitter. But I should probably shamelessly plug my Twitter account right now. But if you see me on Twitter yesterday, I made the point that this is going to horribly backfire on the Democrats because all they're doing is rallying the GOP base around Trump. And there was already some base support for DeSantis, but it wasn't much. But they were kind of switching over to DeSantis, maybe some of them at least. And now after this, they're all rallying around Trump. Even DeSantis, sent out a tweet talking about how this wasn't fair to Trump, and la 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 la. Looks like the entire party is now going to coalesce around Trump, at least the base. Yes, I know. I made that point. I was federal, but wait, Biden is federal. Trump. Yeah, I know. I know it's the state of New York or the city of New York is actually charging Trump. But my point was the grand juries are usually there's no defendants there, and it's just the prosecution making their case. So it's slanted towards the prosecution, the grand juries. Can you imagine Cenk tonight? Did you see the video he made last night? How is it? They uploaded a video last night about this, the Young Turks. I'm gonna play it in a minute, but But my point is, what was my point? I just lost track of my point. Oh yeah, the Republicans are basically going to rally around Trump, the entire base, and it's happening already. And the excitement for Trump is going to go way up. Why? Because they see Trump as a victim. They see Trump as a martyr. It was a huge mistake to even bring this case. If he wasn't running for president, that's one thing. If he wasn't running for president, you would go like, okay, fine, I get it. They want to charge him, whatever. Who cares? And they want to indict him, I mean. But the guy's running for president again. If you indict him, it's obviously going to look political. I don't care whether you have all the evidence in the world. It's obviously going to look political. So even if it isn't political, it's going to look political. It's a bad look for Democrats, who are insisting on trying to hold Trump accountable when it's really about stopping him running for president again. So, yeah, even some people made the point to me that the rule of law is the most important thing, and we have to hold Trump accountable for his crimes. Are you going to hold Obama accountable for the extrajudicial killings that he did while he's president? He killed like 2 or 3 American citizens abroad with drone strikes. Are you going to hold him accountable for that? That's much worse than what Trump allegedly did. Are you going to hold him accountable for that? Oh no, you're not. You don't want to talk about Obama? Oh, that's weird. A lot of Democrats, as soon as I made that point, a lot of never responded to me again because it's like, oh, that's an inconvenient fact we don't want to discuss. So let me not respond again. So yeah, so there's hypocrisy. This is political witch hunt on Trump. Even if it's not, even if it's legitimate, you want to actually hold him account for all his crimes. Okay, fine. But again, it's like it's going to look political no matter what you do in that situation. It's better to wait until after the election. If he loses, then you can go after him. But if not, then you're going to have to forget about those charges because it's just not worth it. To go after him for this. For this, basically, what's what like misfiling paperwork. Basically, what we're talking about here. Let's watch this real quick.
A show of support this morning from potential competitors in the GOP presidential race, lining up to back up Donald Trump's claim his indictment is politically motivated.
This appears to be just one more example, Wolf, of the kind of two-tiered justice system.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, not officially in the race, but widely seen as Mr. Trump's closest competitor for the Republican nomination, accusing the Manhattan District Attorney of stretching the law to target a political opponent. Mr. Trump himself has said even if indicted, his campaign would continue.
I wouldn't even think about leaving.
His team already fundraising, selling these.
Like, if people believe that Trump is going to drop out because he was indicted, it's just one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. This is Trump we're talking about here. Hell, Trump survived grab him by the pussy. Remember that one right before the election? He not only survived it, but he thrived and became president. So the idea that an indictment would stop Donald Trump, Teflon Don, you're out of your mind.
These new T-shirts overnight featuring the date of the indictment. The former president has used
I stand with Trump.
investigations against him to rally supporters.
And people see it's bull, and they go and they say, it's unfair.
It's bullshit.
For now, Mr. Trump's getting backup from allies on Capitol Hill, too. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy saying the GOP-controlled House will hold Alvin Bragg and his unprecedented abuse of power to account. Many of the attacks against Bragg describing the DA as a Soros-backed prosecutor, a reference to George Soros, a liberal megadonor and for years target of conservatives. Soros was among those who donated to a political action committee that supported Bragg's campaign, but a Soros spokesperson tells NBC News George Soros has never met, spoken with, or otherwise communicated with Alvin Bragg. Bragg has criticized the former president, something Mr. Trump's allies have also seized upon to cast him as a partisan prosecutor.
And I've seen him up front and seen the lawlessness that he can do.
And he's touted going after the former president legally, according to the New York Times, saying in 2021, it is a fact that I have sued Trump more than 100 times. The Manhattan DA...
That's interesting. So Alvin Bragg is very similar to, the New York Attorney General, Tisa James, whatever her name is. I mean, she bragged about, during her campaign, by the way, her first campaign, she bragged about all she wanted to do is go after Trump. That was the only intention why she was running for New York Attorney General, and she won. And all she done is go after Trump for years. Now Alvin Bragg is basically admitting, yeah, I sued Trump more than 100 times for all his lawlessness. So New York is just electing people that are blatantly anti-Trump. I mean, it's like there's no like legal. There's no like, well, I mean, I've seen the evidence and he's obviously guilty. No, I mean, it's yeah, I've sued him 100 times for all his crimes, and the Attorney General in New York basically saying, well, I mean, I'm going to use the power of the Attorney General's office to go after Trump. So New York is just anti-Trump to the point where it's like ridiculous.
The investigation itself has been in the spotlight, with top prosecutors resigning last year, including Mark Pomerantz, who, frustrated at the pace of the inquiry when he resigned, wrote the probe had turned into a legal equivalent of a plane crash under Bragg and was due to pilot error, something Bragg pushed back on.
When you talk about the political sphere here, Mr. Trump.
So some of Bragg's prosecutors resigned not because he was going after Trump, because it wasn't happening quick enough. Unbelievable. Only in New York, huh? There's no other place in the country where prosecutors would be so openly like, yeah, he's guilty. Let's go after him now. Let's not wait for the evidence. Just be blatant, like blatant incompetence and blatant just like, yeah, we're anti-Trump, motherfucker. So we got to go after him for reasons. I don't know. This is charge him with shit. This is. I'm surprised. New York is not a safe place for Republicans. I'll tell you that much. So let's get rid of this. I think that's all. Yeah, I don't care about lawmakers reacting. Everybody's partisan hacks in Washington. So let's look here. Trump, excuse me. Hashtag Trump indictment's been trending since last night. So everybody's talking about this on Twitter. Oh, excuse me. God, it's like. So everybody's, been talking about this since pretty much last night. And let's see, grand jury. So everybody's been tweeting about this. Where is? Oh yeah, I bookmarked a lot of the tweets I wanted to talk about. Let's go to my bookmarks. I'll talk about that later. That's okay. That's important. Did I bookmark these tweets I wanted to talk? No, I don't think I did. Damn. But I know I retweeted some of them. So let me just go to Twitter. Should have probably prepared better, but I didn't. There I am, live. Let's see here. Where are those goddamn tweets? Oh, this. Let me talk about this real quick. Breaking. Last year, Hillary Clinton quietly settled a campaign finance violation over reporting the Steele dossier as funding as legal services. She paid a fine, was never arrested. Again, like there's clearly a double standard here. Because Hillary Clinton was charged with by the FEC for very similar crime, which is not properly filing paperwork on the Steele dossier. So instead of being arrested and indicted, what happened? She just paid a fine and okay, everybody moved on. This wasn't even on my radar at the time. I didn't even know about this, or at least I don't remember. Maybe I might have seen this, but DNC Clinton campaign agreed to the Steele dossier funding fine. The Clinton campaign hired Perkins Coie, which then hired Fusion GPS, a research and intelligence firm, to conduct opposition research on Republican president candidate Donald Trump ties to Russia. But on FEC's forms, the Clinton campaign classified the spending as legal services. Hillary Clinton 2016 presidential campaign and Democratic National Committee have agreed to a $113,000 fine to settle a Federal Election Commission investigation into whether they violated campaign finance law by misreporting the spending on research that eventually became the infamous Steele dossier. So, in other words, very similar to what Trump was charged with, improperly filing the expense of $130,000 that Stormy Daniels allegedly got from Trump, even though she got it from Michael Steele, his lawyer at the time. But Hillary Clinton was not indicted. She was not arrested. Nothing. She just paid a $113,000 fine, and it was settled. The matter. So clear double standard here by the Democrats here, who are right now in charge, not only in Washington but also in New York, where the charges were filed. This is Elise Stephanic's statement on Trump's indictment. House Republican Conference Chair Elise Stephanic statement on the unprecedented and scam indictment of President Trump. Today, House Republican Conference Chair the unprecedented election interference from corrupt socialist district attorney Alvin Bragg is a political witch hunt and a dark day for America. The radical far left will stop at nothing to persecute Joe Biden's chief political opponent heading to the 2024 presidential election, to suppress the will and voice of the American people. Tens of millions of patriotic Americans never been so energized to exercise a constitutional right to peacefully organize and vote at the ballot box to save our great republic by electing President Donald J. Trump in 2024. So that's her statement, of course. She's going to call this Alvin Bragg socialist. That's like a dirty word in right-wing circles. Now, here's a statement from the Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, his office. This evening, we contacted Mr. Trump's attorney to coordinate his surrender to the Manhattan DA office for arraignment on a Supreme Court indictment, which remains under seal. Arraignment date to be determined. So, this is from last night. So, right now, it would be Trump's attorney and Secret Service would have to arrange Trump's surrender at some point. I don't know when that's supposed to happen, but... all right, let's go back to... excuse me. Great day. Happy Indictment Day. People are so... Trump should be held accountable, but illegally paying hush money to a porn star is nearly as damaging to our politics as legal bribery committed by Citizens United. Okay. Chris gets it. The rest of y'all who don't catch on eventually will. Are you going to arrest Trump? It's like arresting Tupac. It's only going to make him more popular. He's going to sell more records. No, that's 100% right. Like the entire base is basically backing Trump 100%. The entire base. It's like, and now he's selling more merch. About the date of his indictment, as you saw, and I'm sure his campaigns make a lot of money off that. So, and enrich Trump further. Very genius move, to indict the guy that's you're gonna make richer. Very genius move. All right, so okay. Okay, it has music on it. But it's just Trump dancing. Hell, even some Trump supporters are trolling by saying Happy Indictment Day. I mean, they're using the hashtag, what was it? Happy Indictment Day to troll liberals. So, anything breaking recently? Because if not, I'm just going to go to the video, the TYT video, where basically Cenk Uygur makes a bunch of nonsensical points and just becomes he literally just creams his pants about how excited he is about Trump being indicted. There's like TYT made like 2 or 3 videos last night about Trump's indictment, so I'll probably get to that now I don't see much else breaking about the indictment right now. La la la. Yes. So let's go. Probably should have closed that. Excuse me. Probably shouldn't have closed that, but this is the video I'm talking about, so I mean. Okay, so let me actually try doing this. So this is the Young Turks video I'm talking about. Don Jr. and right-wingers cry about Daddy Trump's indictment. So again, that's very teenager-ish. So like Daddy Trump's indictment. What is it with these people? I mean, they do a news show, and meanwhile, they sound like teenagers whenever they actually in their titles and when in their videos themselves. But that was funny. That would have been funny in 2010. Today, it comes across as cringe and just pathetic. But let me play the video. Probably won't play the whole thing. I'll probably play the beginning and towards the end where Cenk has his his excited, where he's very excited about this. So it's just
Soros-backed Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg is actually indicting my father. So let's be clear, folks. This is like communist level. This is stuff that would make Mao, Stalin, Pol Pot, it would make them blush.
We have just gotten word former President Donald Trump has been indicted by a grand jury.
Did Democrats just indict a former president over sex? Because we were told during the 90s that it was just sex.
He's referring to the Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky thing from the late 90s. So that's what the Democrats are referring to there. But yeah, after this video, I'll probably get to the Crystal Ball and Kyle Kulinski video, and then I'll get to the whole Kyle Kulinski and the Young Turks condescendingly debate about right-wingers and how to talk to them. So I will get to all that. It's just, let me just do this first, so.
No, Jesse Waters. He is being indicted for illegal campaign contributions.
You don't know that because the indictment's been sealed. So there's no way you know that. You're just speculating. Why don't you say you're speculating?
Illegal campaign spending in the form of hush money payments to Stormy Daniels, which the Trump organization allegedly covered up.
Again, you don't know any of that because the indictment's been sealed. So you don't know what Trump's been ultimately been charged with. Oops.
Fraud by falsifying documents. That is what he is being, indicted for. The other thing I'll just mention is,
and she's such a liar. You don't know that. Again, you haven't seen the indictment, so you don't know what he's been charged with. You can speculate on it, like I did, but you don't know what she's been charged with. He's such a liar.
If I recall correctly, in the 1990s, there was a Democratic president that Republicans impeached based on consensual sex. But anyway, I digress. Cenk.
Yeah, Pol Pot committed a genocide. Stalin
and Democrats impeached Trump over some nonsense holding of weapons in Ukraine. So yeah, both sides have done this nonsense impeachment, so it doesn't make much sense. So of course, Anna doesn't mention the Democrats impeaching Trump for ridiculous reasons, though.
Led to the deaths of in the ballpark of 20 million people. Indicting a former president for breaking the law, not quite the same thing.
But look how excited Cenk is. He has this like smug look on his. Like he's so excited over this indictment. Like finally, guys! Oh my! After like 7 years of Cenk saying Trump is going down soon, that he's finally happening. It's finally happening! Yay! We're so excited. He's like, look how excited he is.
So, of course, it's absurdity, but unfortunately, a lot of MAGA, of course, believes that. That's why he goes in that direction. In terms of Fox News, of course, they're going to pretend to be outraged that the rule of law is actually being enforced. If you notice, Jesse Waters didn't defend him on the violations of the law because the violations of the law are super clear. He just says,
No, it's not. It's not super clear. You're just saying that because you're a hack. you're a hack. It's like oh, the violations of law are super clear, except we don't know what he's been charged with and what the evidence is nothing. But somehow, according to you, it's super clear, huh, Cenk? I thought you used to be a lawyer. You should know that you shouldn't just declare somebody guilty without any evidence.
Whatever, it's sex. By the way, there is a point of that I would have agreed with. So if, for example, they had done the Ken Starr treatment to Donald Trump, and they started an investigation of him, and then let's say the Russia investigation, the collusion investigation, and in the midst of that investigation, they asked him about every sexual partner he's ever had, and they were like, okay, what about Stormy Daniels? What about this porn star? What about that porn star? And he lied about it. I would have been like, not guilty, not guilty.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You would be a partisan hack, and you would start talking about, oh, Trump is cheating on his wife, and how dare he, and blah 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 blah, and he had sex with other women. Can you believe that, guys? It's outrageous. Same thing Republicans did to Clinton back in the 90s. That's what Cenk Uygur would done if that would have happened. Instead, he's acting like, oh no, guys, I would have said not guilty. Bullshit. You built your entire channel being anti-Trump for years. For years after Trump was elected, and now not built, but you built. You made the main point of the Young Turks for the last 7 years is the anti-Trump, Orange Man bad, anti-Trump guy. He's Hitler. He's Orange Hitler. All that crap the Young Turks said over the last 7 years, just nonsense.
You can't go in a fishing expedition, find out the guy had sex and he lied about it, which of course he's going to lie about it if he has an affair.
This is the same Donald Trump who openly admitted snorting cocaine off of hookers' asses in the 80s. So I don't think Trump would have a problem admitting to any of his affairs.
It's different when you say, okay, but now I will pay hundreds of thousands of dollars because there's two different people, and then they had to add Michael Cohen's fee on top for the bribe and the hush money, etc. And you pay significant
prosecutorial.
Yeah, the rest of it doesn't matter much. Let's go towards the end of the video now, where Cenk kind of has his coming in his pants moment. I think it's around here. Yeah, a little bit after. All right, let's go from here.
Deal with her.
Just read more of her tweets because they're funny. Here's another one. Our side chants lock her up, and their side is going to get a mugshot based on a witch hunt. It's time to change that. Gloves are off.
They're referring to the whole Hillary Clinton email scandal from the 2016 election. I don't know why Trump didn't go after Hillary Clinton for that. I thought he would, and maybe he should have, but I think the reason why he didn't is because for political reasons. I'm sure the administration was afraid it would be an obvious political prosecution, which is why they never went after Hillary Clinton, even though they should have, because excuse me, even though they should have more evidence against Hillary Clinton than they have against Trump right now. And now the Young Turks have to get to dismiss the whole email thing again and attack Marjorie Taylor Greene, it looks like, for no reason.
Wait, I don't get it. Like, you guys started by saying, let's lock up Hillary Clinton, and we don't care that she hasn't even been charged. That there's no that.
By the way,
like you guys were
no. They were chanting "lock her up" because they knew that pretty much she committed a crime, but she needed to be investigated. They didn't say like "lock her up," like let's put her in jail now. That wasn't what they meant, as far as I know. I mean, I'm sure they meant like, okay, let's get her through the process, arrest her, etc. And let's have a trial. But no, Cenk just assumes the worst. Like, oh, yeah, you wanted to lock her up before there's any evidence. I don't know where he bases that on, but classic Cenk Uygur there.
Ready to imprison your political opponents literally on day one before day one.
Wait, but you're doing the same thing now. You're trying to prosecute Trump for no reason. What, because he filed paperwork improperly? That's the worst you probably got on him.
One. You chanted lock her up 1,000 times in the 2015, 2016 era. Now, all of a sudden, you're like, oh, locking up politicians. They should be above the law. How dare they prosecute politicians who are better than us?
Here, you know what? Let's lock them all up. Let's lock everyone up.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I have nothing against prosecuting a Democrat in power.
Bullshit. I guarantee you, if Trump would have gone after Obama for the extrajudicial killing of American citizens, Anna would melt down, and Anna would make excuses for it. I guarantee you, there's no way that the Young Turks would be pro the arrest of Barack Obama. There's no way. Even though they claimed that they would, that Anna just claimed, no, we'd be fine with arresting Obama. No, you wouldn't. Especially Trump did it. No, you didn't. There's no way. Absolutely no way.
Or an elite Democrat if they have committed a crime. Okay, we shouldn't have a two-tier justice system.
And
period.
Guys, you said lock her up over emails that she brought to her house and had in a different server. Okay, I think that's a minor violation, but okay.
Really, a minor violation. Mishandling important information through a private server, your State Department intelligence through a private server, is that a big deal? See, this is the part where Cenk defends Hillary Clinton. He loves to defend Hillary Clinton. He just did it there. He's like, oh, the whole email thing, it's not a big deal, guys. It was just, good. The emails went through a private server. What's the big deal, right? Meanwhile, Trump improperly filed paperwork, and allegedly that's the best they got on him. And Cenk acts like that's like the worst crime in America. And now he's gonna, in this part, he's gonna go to Trump having classified information in his house. Cenk, you do realize that Joe Biden was also caught doing something similar, right? With classified information, right? I mean, you do remember that. I'm sure you covered it on your show. He doesn't mention Joe Biden. He just mentions Trump, and in his issues with classified information. But he doesn't mention Joe Biden, by the way. The fact that he got caught with classified information in his office when he was vice president. I mean, they found that they were clearing out his office at somewhere. I don't remember where it was. I covered it at the time, and it was worse because Joe Biden's vice president. He had no business with classified information. I don't know where he got that from or how he got it, but it's even worse with Joe Biden. But Cenk is not going to mention Joe Biden. He's going to mention Trump. So let's watch.
Hey, whatever the crime, whatever the penalty for that crime is, okay, I'm happy to do it, right? Then Trump steals the most top secret documents we have, including our nuclear or somebody's nuclear secrets, and brings them to an unguarded facility. At a minimum, the same crime, but in reality, a much harsher crime. And you guys are like, oh, whatever. He's the former president. We love elites. Now the new right-wing position is
projection. Cenk acts like, oh, the right wing loves elites. You know who loves elites? What's up, Diggs? But you know who loves elites? The Young Turks. The Young Turks. He just defended Hillary Clinton. What is she? Oh, an elite. That's right. Let's not remember that. See, Cenk Uygur just defended an elite, but he turns around and starts blabbing about how, oh, the right wing loves to defend elites. Here's the thing. Both sides love doing it. Liberal Democrats love doing it. So do Republicans, to be fair. I'm not denying that. But the idea that Cenk Uygur acts like, oh, well, the left or liberals, we don't do that. We don't defend elites, even though we're elites ourselves, and we love defending Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama for their crimes. But nonetheless, yeah, the right wing, they love to defend elites.
Because you love elites and think they should be above the law? That you think that what Hillary Clinton did is apparently no big deal, but you wanted to lock her up anyway. When Trump does it, you're like, no way. Are you saying that powerful people should never be held accountable?
Yes.
Or just right-wingers?
No, powerful right-wingers, let's be clear.
Exactly.
Let's be clear.
And seriously, right-wingers, just admit it. Because if you think Hillary Clinton should have been locked up, obviously Trump should be locked up for taking home the top secret documents. Obviously. Again, at a bare minimum, the same crime, at a bare minimum. So what's the discrepancy about? Just admit you're a hypocrite and you think that right-wing politicians should be above the law and can break any law you like, and any political opponent of yours should be locked up immediately. Okay, so spare me your garbage talking points.
Ted Cruz weighs in and
Anna's going to talk about Ted Cruz here. Again, doesn't mention Biden's issues with classified information. He got busted with it recently. Doesn't mention that part. Doesn't mention the classified information that was found in Joe Biden's garage in his home in Delaware. Does not mention that. That's definitely not a secure facility, as Cenk whined about when Trump classified information. So, yep, doesn't mention it, doesn't say anything. He's just like, oh yeah, Trump's guilty, guys. See, Trump's guilty. He's a horrible person. He's guilty. But nonetheless, he's guilty. But meanwhile, Biden is not guilty. Very similar crime that Trump is alleged to commit. Not guilty. Or doesn't mention it at least. But Trump's a bad guy, guys. Orange man bad. Orange man bad, remember. Orange man bad. Now, I want to go to, let's see. Let's go to the YouTube channel of of the wannabe Eminem here. Him and his fiance, girlfriend, whatever, Crystal Ball, lock them all up. Look, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I agree, but the issue is, if you're going after Trump, you have to go after Obama. You have to go after Obama, Clinton, Biden, etc. They don't want to do that. They just want to go after Trump. Where's the hypocrisy here? That's what it's about. Now, let's
indict him.
All right, let's go back to the beginning. I started watching this, but I didn't finish it because I just found it so cringe. Look at the power couple. Look at these two. I mean, they're so excited. They couldn't wait to make this video. I mean, look at that. They uploaded it yesterday, 16 hours ago. So 88,000 views. That's more views than Kyle usually gets on his channel. He usually get like 25,000 views. But they knew because it was a Trump video, the views would go way up. So that's what it's all about. They're the Mika Brzezinski, Joe Scarborough of the internet. That's what I call them because they think they're like a power couple. You know, like they would fit perfectly on the Morning Joe show on MSNBC. They would. They use all the same talking points. They're two good-looking white people. You know, they're younger than Joe Scarborough, Mika Brzezinski. So why not fire Joe Scarborough, Mika Brzezinski, hire them too? I mean, they're younger. They're more attractive, especially Crystal, not so much Kyle. He looks like ridiculous with that blonde hair. But nonetheless, you know, I mean, they should take the job. They're younger, you know, allegedly more young people would end up watching them. Happy Friday to everyone too in the chat. So I see Happy Friday in the chat. So I just want to say Happy Friday, everyone too. So let's see what the power couple has to say.
All right, guys, coming at you from soccer practice like a good stepdad. Not at all paying attention to the kids. Anyway, so we got some big news, and there's a reason why we're recording during soccer practice. Hit him.
So
because I want to get 88,000 views on my channel, guys, because my channel is clearly stagnant. I somehow got 1 million subscribers because I sucked up to Marianne Williamson, and Crystal Ball appears on my channel regularly. That's why I got 1 million subscribers. But yeah, I want 88,000 views on my channel, make more money off the ad revenue. So that's why I'm doing this video.
So according to 4 people with knowledge
in the middle of soccer practice, Crystal Ball's kids. So that's
the proceedings, Trump has been indicted. The grand jury voted to indict him on felony charges in the hush money case. This has been, the Manhattan DA, Alvin Bragg, has been leading the charge here. There had been news that came out this morning. We actually covered on Breaking Points that the grand jury was disbanded for a month, which we're like, all right, that's weird. What's going on? I guess the answer is that they had already voted to indict him, so they were kind of done with their work in terms of that. We don't know exactly when the official announcement will come, since this was via a leak, so it has not been made official yet.
Okay, I didn't know that part.
Hasn't been made official yet. Expectation is in the next couple of days. And as I said, it is a felony charge, so we don't know exactly what the charges are yet, but the expectation was that it would be the combination of the business fraud for misrecording, lying about the purpose of the money that was spent, and then combined with this campaign finance violation to push it up to a felony. So that would, in service of another crime is what makes it a felony instead of a misdemeanor. So first former president in history to be indicted on criminal charges. So it is a, historic moment.
It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Yes, the former president is historic, guys. It's historic. An indictment, which is meaningless, by the way. It's just basically saying the grand jury claiming, well, it's enough evidence to at least, indict him and, charge him. But it's not historic. Doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. Trump will continue running for president. So this is just an opportunity for PMC leftists like these two to make a video and get 100,000 views, almost 100,000 views, and to make a bunch of ad revenue off of it. So that's what this is about. It's
moment for sure.
He is absolutely going to be raging on Truth Social.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, by the time we're dropping this, he probably will have already responded in an all caps rant saying like all sorts of things that are easily interpreted as like, be violent in reaction to this.
Very possible.
But at least as of when we're recording this, we haven't seen that yet. So just letting everybody know that you might know more about this than we do.
Look how smug they are. It's like, oh yeah, I mean, Trump is probably tweeting or posting whatever on Truth Social talking about you should do violence, indirectly saying that. Based on what? I don't know. I mean, this is Kyle Kulinski here. He doesn't need any evidence. He just runs his mouth and gets, and just gets a bunch of views and stuff.
By the time this drops,
because all he cares
you know
about,
what I mean? Like, there's going to be more stuff.
All he cares about is the views. All he cares about is his ad revenue. I mean, he's not going to do anything, absolutely anything, to risk his YouTube channel. So principles be damned. I'm just going to do whatever I want to get all the views that I desire, or what he desires.
Stuff that unfolds. I mean, so obvious thing is like, now what? What do you think the chances are he actually gets convicted? And if we're talking about a felony, aren't we talking about like some jail time?
Possible, but it could also just be a fine. So it just depends. I think it's very possible, even though it would be considered a novel application of the law. I think it's still possible he's found guilty. There's also a possibility that he, negotiates with them and comes to some sort of a plea deal. That's also a possibility here, but I think that seems unlikely, just given that he's going to want the specter of him fighting. And to jump to the politics of this, there was just polling out in the past day from Quinnipiac showing, unsurprisingly, that most Americans think that he did it. Most Americans think the charges, the allegations are either very serious or fairly serious.
Wait. The whole polling about how most Americans think Trump is guilty. What do you expect? The media is hair on fire, screaming 24/7 how Trump's a criminal. I mean, you go on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, NBC, all Politico, whatever, all corporate media. They all talk about how he's guilty, criminal, guilty. So what do you expect? Of course, most polling is going to show most Americans think he's guilty. I mean, that's all they hear in the media, except for Fox. Even some Fox News hosts talk about how he's guilty. Not all of them, but some of them do. So the idea that the polling says, "Oh, most Americans think he's guilty," who cares? Like, it's obvious that they're not following this closely, and since most of the media says he's guilty, and like, yes, then he's obviously guilty. That's why those pollers like that. Instead, Crystal Ball's going to dishonestly report this as well. It'd be obviously most Americans think he's guilty, right? There's the evidence that's there, except we don't know what he's been charged with yet. So we don't know what the hell he's been charged with. There's 30 counts, and since the indictment is sealed, there's no way anybody can know what he's been charged with. So this is, at the very least, it's just dishonest.
But also, most Americans think that the charges are politically motivated. So
right, they think both.
Yeah, they are politically motivated. Even the polling shows that. Geez,
things are true at the same time.
Both things are true,
which is fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, I kind of think the same thing. So,
but this is the weakest of like all the potential charges against him. I mean, I think that's just a fact. That's not to downplay these charges. It's just to say that like when you're trying to do a fake elector scheme, a fake elector scheme is way more serious than whatever this was.
Yeah, agreed. And so
the fake elector scheme is like, oh yeah, find me votes. What does that mean? That can mean anything. Find me votes. When Trump said that to Georgia, it's like, find me votes. That can mean anything. It's so vague, it's like, find me votes. Okay, what does that mean? Does that mean doing the fake electors thing, or does that mean recounting the votes and see whether Trump actually won or not? It's such a vague statement by Trump, which is classic Trump, by the way. It's just vague. You can't really charge him based on a vague statement unless there's more evidence I don't know about yet. But, Kyle is like desperately said, well, I mean, the fake elector scheme, that's a bigger deal than this. So I can't take these two anymore. So they're together. They're so fucking arrogant. Like, they deserve each other. They're so what's the word I'm looking for? They're so arrogant. Not arrogant though. What's that? I don't remember the word right now. I mean, I'll remember it later. But yeah, let's go back though to my thumbnail, because I think the young. Actually, I want to go back to Kyle's channel because he did a video. Oops. He did a video the other day responding to the Young Turks debate on how to communicate with right wingers. Right wingers. Can't even say it right. Where is it? Let's see if I can find this video. Ah, here it is. And I'm going to talk about how condescending this whole thing is.
So Cenk and Anna of the Young...
Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to talk about how... Oh, God, I can't stand the way he dresses with those... Yeah, it means he's guilty. I mean, they really think that an indictment is a really big deal and that Trump is guilty. It's like they obviously did it for the views. Crystal and Kyle aren't that stupid. They even admitted, that, oh, well, that's not such a big deal, those charges. So yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just ridiculous. But now I want to talk about this debate that Cenk and Anna had about how to communicate with right wingers and how Kyle responded, which is very similarly, I can't even say it right now. And they're all very condescending. That's my whole point. I'm trying to say, and instead I'm butchering it. All right, so I'm going to skip ahead to the actual clip of Cenk and Anna debating this. And then Kyle's reaction. Then I'll probably be wrapping up because what time is it? It's 3:12. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to wrap up right after this. So all right, here we go. No. God damn it. Why is this not working? Bear with me 1 second trying to get this to work. All right, here we go.
Right? And I'm also asking for, just stay away from hyperbole and needlessly making blanket statements about whole swaths of the population.
No, that's what the Young Turks do. Cenk and Anna both do that, and unbelievably, Anna started. You need to stop. Using general statements against the right guys, and Cenk needs to stop doing that. Except that's what you both do. So I don't know why she's acting like she doesn't do that. Those general statements like that against conservatives.
So
That's the problem I have.
We're not getting to the heart of the problem. So
Okay.
look, the Republicans, generally speaking, and not just generally speaking, I give you specific examples, are the aggressors, right? So we didn't just pass hundreds of laws against straight people in the country. They just passed hundreds
The
of laws.
politicians, and we should fight them, Cenk.
Do you think the Republican voters were against those laws? Be honest.
Cenk, I mean, what do they hear? Constant libs of TikTok, constant propaganda that's meant to scare them about the others. You know this.
I know, but Anna, so what do we do? Because we can't just go,
okay,
hey, you know what? Let's throw gay people
that is
under
not
this.
what I'm suggesting.
I know you're not suggesting that. So I'm asking, what do we do?
Okay, so do you think that you persuade them by saying, you guys are stupid, you guys love crime, you guys are hateful, ordinary people? Are you persuading them, or are you just
First of all,
it's just ironic Diana is calling Cenk out for that when she does the same fucking thing too. She calls right wingers stupid all the time, and she calls them, she thought, they don't know any better and all this other stuff. She does it too, and she's like projecting that on the Cenk, which he does that too, but she's mad at him for doing that when she does it too. It's just weird to me, this debate, because it's just ridiculous. All right, so let's see what else they have to say.
Facing, the emotional frustration that I also feel myself.
No, this is super important, and this is a good question, and it has a very good answer. So we're in a political battlefield. We have to win on these elections so we can win on the bills, because they're winning the elections and winning the bills, and they're actually passing laws saying that gay people are so evil, we can't have innocent kids hear about their existence, okay? Right. So I cannot let that stand. So how do you win? You win by winning the middle, okay? So that's why sometimes when the left goes extreme, that doesn't help winning the middle. Okay, and you have to look at the polling to see what people actually want. They defunded.
Cenk, polling is meaningless. It's meaningless. It's just policy on the abstract. It's like, oh, are you in favor of, I don't know, Medicare for all? Most Americans say yes. But as soon as you break it down to explain what Medicare for all is and how you're going to pay for it, then support goes from 70% down to 35%. I mean, that's what the Kaiser family poll showed. And that was a really extensive poll on Medicare for all. It went down from 70 to 35% or 25%. I don't remember what the exact number was. Once you broke it down and explained how you're going to pay for it and what it is exactly, the policy. Medicare is very popular by itself, which is why Medicare for all seems, okay, Medicare for everybody, great. Except once you break it down, you realize, oh, well, my taxes are going to go up. I don't like that idea. So yeah, fuck it. I'm against it now. So polling is just meaningless. It's just an abstract on policy. Polling usually doesn't explain what the policy is. It just says, "Are you in favor of Medicare for all?" Yes. Great. Okay. Good. Like he's gonna mention, I think, defund the police here. I'm pretty sure in a second. Most Americans were against that. But the issue is on the abstract. They don't know what defund the police means. Hell, most leftists who were in favor of defund the police really disagreed on what it meant. So, nobody really knew what it meant, which is why, the polling was really low on that. So, let's continue.
With the police, you poll it in African-American neighborhoods, and it polls terribly. Don't tell me that they want it when they don't want it. That's what you're talking about. And that's the elite saying, oh, this is what the people want. It's not true. But when you're talking about winning the middle, you have to say yes.
It's unbelievable. He acts like, oh, this is what the elites want. You're the elite. Aren't you a millionaire? You took $20 million from Katzenberg and his group. Aren't you a millionaire? Or at least you and Anna are both millionaire elites. So then they have the nerve to turn around and say they're not elites and they're on our side. Unbelievable.
If you're on that side, it's not okay. It's not normal. It's not, hey, 50-50. Should we hate the gays or should we not hate the gays? No, if you hate people for who they are, you're a bit of a monster. I know you got turned into a monster by right-wing media and propaganda and let's be honest, religion, etc. Okay,
you see how condescending he is there? It's like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, you're wrong, but you're wrong because of right-wing media and propaganda and your religion. Look at how elitist he's acting there, how condescending that is. It's like, yeah, you didn't think about these issues and you didn't come to this opinion. No, it was propaganda. You were tricked. You're too stupid to come up with your own opinion. So that's why, we have to inform you. We have to educate you as the left-wing elite in California. Fucking unbelievable.
I don't like honesty. So we're stuck.
I don't think
but in terms of the middle, no, I don't want you to think, as every stupid Democrat has done my entire life, it could be. Maybe you should hate black people and Latinos and immigrants and gays and all these people. I don't want to offend Republican voters. I don't want to offend them. Okay, so.
Yeah, nobody. What did he say? Because I wasn't paying attention.
Democrat has done my entire life. It could be. No, I don't want you to think, as every stupid Democrat has done my entire life, it could be. Maybe you should hate black people and Latinos and immigrants and gays and all these people. I don't want to offend Republican voters. I don't want to offend them.
When did Republicans ever say they hate Latinos and they hate immigrants? Not immigrants, but Latinos. Like, it's like, oh, God, man, I don't know how much more of this I can take.
Okay, so I gotta be a warrior for that. And Anna,
I gotta be a warrior for that, motherfucker. Yeah. Like, Jake, you're sitting in your multi-million-dollar studio in New York, and California, and you're pretending to be a warrior for what? Like your definition of an internet tough guy. Like one of these people who like, I'm gonna kick your ass, I'm gonna do this and that, and when you meet him in person, they cower and hide and run away. So. Yeah, Cenk hates everyone. Especially right-wingers. Every right-winger to him is guilty. Every right-winger is a scumbag. Every right-winger is a racist. Every right-winger is this, that, and the third. And Anna, too. Anna, too, is just like him. But for some reason, she calls him out on it when she does it, too. So it's kind of a weird debate they're having here, because they both do it.
You're a warrior for that, and you're an awesome warrior for that.
You're a warrior for that, Anna. I'm kissing your ass here because you're the executive producer.
No, I direct my ire toward those in power, Cenk, because
No, you don't. You called half the country stupid when Trump won the presidency. So you don't. Anna does not have her save her ire for the powerful. No, she does it to the entire country too. Remember the whole "I'm better than you" rant, where she like, "I'm fucking better than you, much better than you. You are garbage." Remember that rant? She did that at Normal Americans. That was one of the most infamous rants that she's ever gone on. Her elitist, one of her moments where you realize, oh shit, Anna's just a rich little elitist, that was her most embarrassing moment by far on the internet.
Look, look at Florida as a perfect example. They elected Obama twice. Look at Florida now, right? Obviously, people can be persuaded, and you give up too easily. Like you just do. We have policy ideas that are appealing across the aisle. Period.
No, you don't.
But all of
based on what? Based on polling? Like I said, polling is abstract. It's nonsense. Like it's policy on the abstract. It's like, oh, are you in favor of Medicare for all? Oh, Medicare, I like Medicare. My grandparents have it, and it's great. So yes, I'm in favor of Medicare for all. Oh, are you against all the wars? It's like, yes, I am, because I don't want any more wars. So it's all in the abstract. It's not really, they don't really break it down and explain to people what the policy actually is and what would be implications of implementing said policies. So, yeah, so to me, I don't, when I advocate for a certain policy, and then I advocate for a certain policy, and then I don't go around just citing polling. I don't think I ever cited a single polling in my videos or in my streams so far, because they're meaningless to me, especially the presidential election polling. It's terrible. It's like 50-50 every time. And it's like, it's very rare when a candidate actually leads. It's like, oh yeah, I support a Republican. Oh, I support a Democrat. Also, Americans lie, and they could lie in these polls. And, but that's why you can't take polling seriously. It's like, it's just polls. It's just an opinion poll ultimately. It's not like it's an actual election or you're actually voting on the policy. It's just a poll. Like, who cares? I mean, why do these people obsessed with polls so much? I don't know.
All of the focus by the mainstream Democratic Party is because they're paid by their donors and they don't actually want to push for the economic policies that would be popular. They dive into the culture wars too, right?
Yeah.
So it's like this endless, like, you're bad, no, you're bad, you're a terrible person, you're a terrible person. I'm not saying you don't fight the right-wing power players. You absolutely do. But if we are to have anyone outside of our political group be receptive to the popular policy ideas that we have, we can't persuade them by immediately attacking them and writing them off as all bad people. You guys are all bad people. You guys all love crime. You all love this. You all love that. Just doesn't make sense to me. And I disagree with your theory of change. The whole thing about winning over the middle, that is what elections have been about for decades. For decades.
No, but they have a false middle. Their middle is, bipartisan compromise that we should give billions more to corporations, and that's the middle of the country. That ain't the middle of the country. The middle of the country is an average guy, an average woman working their ass off, barely making it, et cetera, right? So I address the actual middle as opposed to the Democratic Party. Look, here's my solution. And this is what I've been doing to the best of my ability, and often very wrongly, I'm sure, right? But I play both defense and offense. So if you're gonna attack people, we're going to defend them, period. Okay. At the same time, and this is what none of the rest of the Democratic Party do. Bernie does it a little bit. Justice Democrats do it a tiny bit, but tiny.
Yeah.
Okay. What you have to do is play offense on economic issues.
Yes.
Do you want higher wages, or do you want the Republican plan of lower wages? Do you want health care, or don't you want health care? For God's sake, this is the one thing Anna and I agree most on. Play offense on economic issues. And look, right wing, let me just say this. I don't mind if you hate me. And I'm gonna fight you, and you're gonna fight me, okay? On these culture war issues.
Oh, well, it looks like there's an issue here. Don't know why. Bear with me 1 second while I try to fix this. My internet isn't down. What the hell's going on here? Well, bear with me 1 second. Oh, here we go.
I don't mind if you hate me, and I'm gonna fight you, and you're gonna fight me, okay? On these culture war issues, it probably lasts the rest of our lifetime, okay? But can we just agree on things that are not culture war issues? Don't you want higher wages and healthcare? And I know some of you say, no, not if it means working with a lib. And by the way, some of us say, not if it means working with a bigot, a racist, a homophobe, et cetera, et cetera.
That's you, Jank. No, like that's not him. Like, oh, some of us don't want to work with racists, bigots, homophobes, et cetera. Yeah, that's you. That's you. That's most of the professional managerial class left. I mean, that's why you guys hate Jimmy Dore, because he works with right wingers and he has them on, and he goes to their alleged right wingers. At least he goes to their rallies, and that's why you hate him. Like it's some of us. Yeah, some of us on the left don't want to work with people that we don't like. Yeah, that's you. That's you. That's Anna. That's Emma Vigeland. That's Sam Cedar. That's Mike Figueredo. All these professional leftists.
So both sides fight the culture wars either now or later, but you have to fight together on economic issues where the people at the top, the donors, are crushing the living crap out of both of us. Let's stop the robbery first.
Wait, no.
And then we can go back to fighting.
How do you get people to work together when the beginning?
Stop the goddamn thing. Okay, here we go. Wait. That's what Jimmy Dore tries to do. To bring together right and the left, and Cenk hates him for it. Remember the forced to vote thing? How did that turn out? Oh yeah, that's right. Cenk Uygur was against it. Anna was against it, even though we were trying to all work together to force a vote on Medicare for all. Cenk was against it. Anna was against it. Most of the professional left was against it. Everyone's against it. So when we actually tried to do something, you're like, oh no, the Red Brown Alliance and Jimmy Dore's a bad person. He's a piece of shit. He's a motherfucker. And, we can't work with him, which is why it ultimately failed, because there wasn't enough pressure on the squad to actually force the vote. Then now when it doesn't matter, Cenk turns around and says, well, we have to work together on economic issues. Now, after the moment's passed.
Beginning of that proposal is, we hate you guys. We think you're stupid. We think you love criminals.
They hate us. You think they don't hate us?
They do hate us. They do hate us.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is it's okay. Hate us. We hate you. But let's work together so we don't get robbed. The guy's walking away with the freaking money.
You're not getting robbed, Cenk. You're a millionaire. I wonder how much taxes you actually pay. I mean, a millionaire is barely paying any taxes. It is. So, you're talking about like, oh, we're getting robbed, guys. Not you. We're getting robbed. Average Americans. Not you, motherfucker. You're collecting your $20 million from Katzenberg, probably giving us you and Anna bonuses, and TYT barely has any money to hire, or allegedly have any money to hire people. That's why they're always doing like 3 or 4 different fundraisers at once, usually, because they're desperate for money.
Let's stop the robbery first. So it's just an honest way of dealing with it. Instead of saying like, oh my God, maybe you guys are right about X, Y, or Z.
No, I never said that, Cenk. I never the straw. Okay.
That is a straw man.
That is no. You love straw manning. You love it. I'm trying to be as fair.
Yeah, Cenk does love the straw man, and so does Anna, by the way. It's amazing how she does that. How she points a finger at Cenk. Oh, Cenk, you love the straw man. You love to attack. You love to say people are stupid. You love to do this, but Anna does it too. They both do it, and she acts like she doesn't do it. And I'm surprised Cenk doesn't call it out. And you do it too, woman. What are you talking about? It's not just me. We both do it. Now we both had this condescending debate talking about how right wingers are stupid and they're bad people. We have to figure out how to communicate with them. Well, you know who figured out how to communicate with them? Jimmy Dore. He figured out how to do it. And Kyle Kulinski's not going to acknowledge that. The Young Turks don't acknowledge that. Nobody acknowledges that. They all ignore it. Instead, it's like, oh, how do we communicate right wingers, guys? I don't know. Let's have a debate about it, even though we're both doing the exact same thing and we're both kind of hypocrites on this. But whatever. Let's figure out how do we communicate right wingers, guys? I don't know. I don't know. Unbelievable.
As possible during this conversation. You're intentionally misrepresenting what I'm saying here. Obviously, I don't agree with the hateful rhetoric. I don't like any of it, okay? But it's really interesting to me that when you had a candidate like Obama who ran on hope and change, who ran on economic issues, all of these people who are now enamored with Donald Trump actually voted for Obama. Gee, I wonder why that is. Could it be that in lieu of a candidate that actually represents their economic interests, they just go for the cult of personality who owns the libs? That is what happens. That is our political landscape right now. So we can continue attacking ordinary people that we disagree with. And to be sure, I do disagree with them. But we have to also, more importantly, if you ask me, focus on the systems that has created this mess in the first place. And sometimes I feel like the focus isn't where it needs to be. That's all I'm saying.
All right, super last thing on it. Look, Anna's, again, not wrong about the facts. So Obama, when he came into office, had around an 80% approval rating. So if the whole country was racist or all Republicans were racist, why was his approval rating that high? Why did he win a whole bunch of red states, right? So if you think the only answer is racism, bigotry, etc., you're wrong. The facts do not prove out your thesis, okay? Right. So, but if you think that problem doesn't exist, well, you're probably not on the left anyway. Of course it exists, right? And of course it applies to some people, but whether it's the majority or half of Republicans or a third of Republicans, I don't know. But I do know that whatever percentage of Republicans that is, they're winning their primaries, they're winning general elections, and they're passing laws that enforce their hatred of us onto all of society, right? Whereas our side can't play defense or offense. So I'm trying to help on both fronts, but I'm sure very imperfectly so, and it's a good conversation. It'll continue probably for years.
So,
yeah. So, hypocrisy, fucking everything. They're like, really? You both do it. You both call right wingers stupid. They both do it. It's maddening to watch that. And I watched they continue for like 5 or 6 minutes after that. I watched the entire 20-minute video. I'm like, what the fuck? How can they both debate this when they both do it? It's not just Cenk. Anna does it too all the time. And she acts like she doesn't do it, and Cenk's the only one that's guilty of that. Surprised Cenk didn't call her on that. It's like, you do it too, woman. I mean, that was maddening to watch that. I don't know about you guys who's watching now, but that was maddening to watch that. I have a headache already. Now Kyle's going to agree with Anna mostly, but at the same time, he's going to be condescending as well. So let's check that out real quick. I'm not going to play much more of this because I got to wrap up soon. But yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's like, but I'm going to play Kyle's a few minutes of this and then I'll wrap up because I have to cook dinner as usual. On top of that, Tara Reid is going live at 4:00 with her guests. So I have to be wrapping up soon anyway. So let's just play a couple minutes of this.
Michael Brooks had a great quote. Be kind to people.
Michael Brooks, again, who I barely remember the guy. I mean, he wasn't a big deal to me. And I've been following this space for years, almost 10 years now. And Michael Brooks, the only thing I know of Michael Brooks, he was Sam Cedars' lackey. That's pretty much I know about him. It's like Emma Vigeland is his lackey today. Michael Brooks was Sam Cedars' lackey. And that's all I know about him. He never said anything of consequence to me. He sounded like a partisan hack. That's all I know. I mean, again, I could be wrong on that because I really didn't hear much of him. But Kyle quoting Michael Brooks like he's some kind of philosopher, it's just ridiculous to me.
People be ruthless to systems. And that's the crux of this debate is that, right? Because from Anna's perspective, she feels like Cenk is too hard and too dismissive of right-wing voters who may have been propagandized into believing absolute garbage. And instead of trying to constructively sort of deprogram them and get them out of that, you make them hate you more and you make them double down more when you say things like Republicans love criminals. Because then they're gonna circle the wagons, they're gonna get defensive, they're gonna say that's not a fair categorization of what I believe. And Anna makes the point, like, I don't know if you saw it in this clip, but she makes the point of like, obviously the argument they would make is not that Donald Trump is a criminal and I like him because he's a criminal. They would argue, no, he's a victim of a witch hunt and it's the establishment and the deep state targeting him. And they're doing that because he's an outsider. He's not part of the club and he busts up business as usual and all those things. So that's what they would, to steelman their position, that's what they would say. So I guess I definitely lean more in the pro-Anna direction in this debate because the way you handle that is to so accurately understand what their position is and then respond to their actual position instead of smugly saying, you just love criminals. And so the way to deconstruct that would be to show this guy isn't an outsider. He's not anti-establishment. He's a billionaire. He's part of the club. All of his policy proposals were pro-establishment. His biggest legislative accomplishment was a tax cut, which was $2 trillion to the wealthy. 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%. He ran as the anti-outsourcing guy, but then there were 200,000 jobs that were outsourced under him. So if you steelman...
Yeah, Trump's a hypocrite. Trump's a bad guy, blah, 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 blah.
The opposition, and then address their specific concerns, there's some percentage of them that you're going to make them go, oh, okay, well, that's a fair point. You know, I never thought of it from that perspective. But if you just flippantly and glibly and smugly say, you just love criminals, well, they're going to be like, I hate Cenk Uygur, and you are not being fair, you're not being kind, you're not accurately restating my position to me. And so, ultimately, I think Anna's more correct. You know, can you find examples of Republicans who will say, yes, I know Trump did it, but I also still like him, so at least in this specific instance, I like a criminal? Yeah, you'll find some like that, but those are the ones we'd put in the category of TFG, the too far gones. But I guess the debate here is what percentage are actually TFG and what percentage are not. What percentage are savable? To Anna's point, there was, I think, 9 million voters who voted for Obama twice and then voted for Trump. Obviously, with those specific people, you can't say it's the racism, it's the bigotry, it's the xenophobia. Like, that's why they voted for Trump. So, look, it's a complex conversation. I like this debate that they had. To steelman Cenk's position, he would argue, I'm making a point that's mean and tough, but the problem are the political elites. Basically 100% of the Republican politicians and like 80 to 85% of the Democratic politicians.
A load of that. He's like, He's like, yeah. The problem is the political elite. 100% of Republican establishment, 85% of Democrats. So what? 15% of Democrats are good people? It's ridiculous. Only Kyle Kulinski can make that point because he's a partisan hack Democrat. That's why. And E. Heller says tax evasion is political. They want to arrest him for war crimes for taking part in medical conspiracy to profit off Raytheon and drones because that would set a precedent. It is political. I mean, it's obvious what it is. I mean, that's the point I made for the first hour of the stream. Yeah, when he used Steel Man, I'm like, what does that even mean? I mean, I was trying to, I was thinking in my head, thought his little dissertation there. What the hell is he talking about? Steel Man, his point. And that's why I was kind of like this, kind of confused. I was like really because I did some college, but I never finished. So I don't sound as overeducated there as Kyle. I was like, Steel Man. What the hell is a Steel Man? His point. And I was thinking about looking up on Google, but then you notice that it's like what the hell does that even mean? Steel Man his point. It's like, why don't you say what I think Cenk is saying is this, or what I think Republicans are saying is this, and give your opinion based. He said, "Oh, let me Steel Man Cenk's point." Like, I think I was trying to figure out what that meant.
Like, that's the problem. The problem is the system. The problem are the incentive structures in the system. And, I may disagree with my neighbor on a whole host of issues. But at the end of the day, if you really get down to it, I think they would honestly say, some conservative neighbor, I just want what's best for everybody. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be healthy. And I want everybody to feel fulfilled. And so then the question becomes, well, how do we get to that point? Which brings us full circle to where they're both right, which is, look, Florida in the 2020 election voted for Trump over Biden, but 60% of Florida...
I can't take much more of this. We should not be surprised by sizzle takes. Founder of Just Us Dems. Yeah, I mean, Kyle is... I can't take much more of him. That's why I had to stop this there. But yeah, get a load. Look at him. He's just straight up kissing TYT's ass, jinking at his ass there. Oh, they're both right here, guys. And this is a very important conversation to have. Meanwhile, Jimmy Dore's figured out how to talk to right-wingers and how to get them to agree with his positions, left-wing positions. But we're just going to ignore Jimmy Dore. It's like, oh, he doesn't count. But we need, as professional leftists, figure out how to talk to right-wingers and condescend to them and fail miserably. That's what they're going to do. I can't take much more. I can't. Oh, God. Yeah, anyway, I have to wrap up soon because Tara Reid is going live at 4. I need to get off of the space so they can set up, So, yeah, I mean, Kyle is just like, he's like a overeducated, little arrogant douchebag. And so is his little fiance girlfriend Crystal Ball. I mean, it's like they're made for each other. I mean, I'm happy for them. They found each other. They're made for each other. They should get married. Kyle has access to her millions. He doesn't have to worry about money ever again. And I'm happy for them. Like, really. I mean, just they made for each other. Kyle is a textbook midwit. He's intellectually light. He's a light thinker. I mean, it's black and white to Kyle. It's either Democrats are the good guys, Republicans are the bad guys. It's very simplistic of Kyle. His content. There's no thinking. There's no, okay, what about this? Like in Russia, Ukraine, you can see it in him. There's no thinking. It's just, well, Putin invaded Ukraine, just like we invaded Iraq and Afghanistan. So he must be an imperialist, just like we are. It's like, no, based on what? Did you talk about the last 10 years of context? No, he doesn't. Him and Crystal Ball never mentioned the 10 years of context of the overthrow of Viktor Yanukovych to the Ukrainian government actually trying to kill ethnic Russians in eastern Ukraine, etc. He doesn't mention that. So, who attacked who? Who attacked who? Who attacked who? Who attacked who? Like that's supposed to be some kind of, like that's a devastating point or something. It isn't. It's just classic intellectually like Kyle Kulinski. Yeah, well, I really do have to wrap up now because if I keep talking, I'll go to 4 o'clock and then I'm in trouble, basically. Hey, Indy, what's up? Yeah, I'm wrapping up now, so So I know about the Tara Reid 4 o'clock stream. By the way, go check that out on the INN YouTube channel and all the platforms she's on. Who made who? Yeah, so I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you. Please like the stream, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to INN's YouTube channel. I'll be back on Monday at 2:15 Eastern for sure. And for hopefully the entire week, we'll see. But I'll definitely be streaming again Monday. So, terrible line. I have the kid in the car. Sorry about that, but I've been watching your stuff on replay. Well, thank you for watching. I mean, it's I appreciate the support. And make sure you like the stream, like the videos, whatever. And I'll see you guys on Monday afternoon, 2:15 Eastern. Have a great weekend. Because I know, I hope I will. We'll see about that. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace out. Yeah, no problem, Indy. I appreciate everything you do for me, too, so it's the least I can do.